Hi, and welcome to the Geeky Boomer. I am PixelPia, your host. There is one thing that I really dislike, and that is shopping. Of course, I like to buy things, but I don't like to go to the store. Thanks to technology, I don't have to. I still go to the store from time to time, mostly to buy groceries, but most other things that I need and want, I actually buy online. So in today's episode, I want to talk to you about e-commerce and online shopping. We will, as always, go back in time and see how all this started. We will take a quick look at what led us to where we are today, and even look a little bit into the future and what we can expect when it comes to e-commerce and online shopping. And for those of you who have ever thought about selling things yourself online, I will have a section about online selling as well. But as always, every coin has two sides. So we will also talk about pros and cons, advantages and risks, both from a seller perspective and from a buyer's perspective. And at the end of today's episode, I will share with you some surprising and maybe even disturbing things and services that you can buy online. So if that is something you are curious about, stick around and let's start this journey. We live in an age where buying something online is as easy as clicking a button. But it wasn't always like this. So how did it all begin? We actually have to travel back in time to the 1960s. A new technology, the EDI, electronic data interchange, was developed. And this replaced the traditional mailing and faxing of documents with a digital way of transferring that information. EDI is automated computer-to-computer exchange of data. This can be business documents of different kinds. EDI uses a standardized formatting for exchanging text messages without the need of human intervention. EDI made it possible for multiple companies, sometimes even in different countries, to exchange information and documents electronically. These documents can be things like payments, customs, and inventory documents. EDI can be used to transfer information such as purchases, invoices, shipping notices, and payments. And EDI enabled instant long-distance communication in a time before the internet. It lowered operation costs, increased transaction security, and was a faster way of communication. So fast forward now to 1979. The English inventor Michael Aldrich invented online shopping. He called it teleshopping. His invention connected a modified television to a real-time transaction processing computer using a telephone line. Aldrich's invention allowed users to buy items without leaving their homes, and it was revolutionary for its time. The next big step was in 1990 when Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. This is when e-commerce really took off. In 1994, Netscape introduced SSL, Secure Socket Layers. And this is an encryption to transfer data online. Now it became much safer to do online transactions, which helped to boost people's confidence in online shopping. SSL is a computer networking protocol. Just like HTML is a protocol for websites, SSL is a protocol for transferring secured encrypted data. And then came 1995, which is a landmark year for e-commerce. Two giants that we know oh so well today launched. One was Amazon, and the second one was eBay. Amazon started as an online bookstore, and eBay started as an auction site. Both of these have grown to multi-billion-dollar businesses and cater to millions of consumers worldwide. Amazon, as I said, started as an online bookstore in 1994. Jeff, his wife, and a friend set up the platform in his garage in Bellevue, Washington. Bezos quit his job at an investment bank to start the business. And his parents invested almost $250,000 in the startup. Amazon sold its first book in 1995, and within a month, the company had shipped books to all 50 states in the US and to 45 countries in the world. Amazon has grown from a small online bookstore to an e-commerce powerhouse. Today, more than 1.7 million small and medium-sized businesses around the world sell in Amazon stores, attracting more than 300 plus million customers worldwide with active accounts in 180 countries. Amazon nowadays have many businesses. We have Amazon Store, which is the main business where you can today buy all kinds of products. Books, electronics, clothing, home goods, garden, you name it, you can probably find it on Amazon Store. They also have devices and services. For example, an Echo Smart Speaker, Fire TV sticks for TV streaming, and the Kindle e-reader. We also have Amazon Web Services, AWS. It's a cloud computing platform. AWS has a wide variety of services, such as computing, storage, networking, databases, analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. But Amazon also works within delivery and logistics. They own a large network of warehouses and delivery centers. And they use this network to deliver products to customers all over the world. And of course, Amazon Entertainment, like Amazon Prime Video, Amazon Music, and Twitch. Amazon also owns a number of different companies. For example, Audible for ebooks, Zappos, a shoe retailer, Ring, the little doorbell company with the camera, One Medical, which is a primary care company, Whole Foods Market, which is a grocery store, MUM Holdings, a media and entertainment company. As of 2023, Amazon is owned by a variety of shareholders. Now let's take a look at eBay. It was founded in 1995 by Pierre Omidyar, if I pronounce that right, as a way for people to sell and buy items online using an auction system. It was actually originally called Auction Web, but changed name in 1997 to eBay. eBay quickly became one of the more popular websites in the world. In the early days, eBay was mostly used to sell collectibles and antiques. But as the site grew in popularity, they started to offer a wide variety of things, including electronic, home goods, clothing, and much more. eBay also started to introduce international shipping, which really helped them to spread around the world. In 1998, eBay went public and began trading on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. The company's IPO, which stands for Initial Public Offering, was one of the most successful in history, and it raised $61 million. eBay's growth has been continuing, and it has acquired several other companies, such as PayPal, Skype, and StubHub. Today, eBay is one of the largest online marketplaces in the world. The company has over 180 million active users, and it processes over $100 billion every year in sales. And eBay today is active in 30 countries. From these two companies, e-commerce constantly have grown, thanks to advancement of the internet, both when it comes to speed and accessibility, the development of smartphones, and not to forget the social media evolution. In recent years, the introduction of AI, AR, and VR, and drone delivery are paving the way for what is to come. To say that e-commerce have come a long way would be an understatement. E-commerce has not only changed how we shop, but also how we live. So let's take a quick look at e-commerce as we know it today. We all can see the impact of e-commerce in our daily life. According to a report from Statista.com, in 2021, global e-commerce sales reached 5.2 trillion. That's trillion US dollars. This number is expected to reach 8.1 trillion in the year 2026. And this is not just thanks to big business companies like Amazon and eBay. Small and medium-sized companies has a big market of this. Let's talk a little bit about consumers' behavior. A 2023 report from Uberlo.com shows that more than 2.64 billion people worldwide are expected to buy goods and services online. That is a third of all the population in the world. It's expected that in 2023, the US will reach the number of online buyers by 218.8 million people. But we have a new phenomenon, social commerce. The merging of social media and e-commerce is growing. Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest are just a few platforms that have integrated buy buttons in their layout. A new report from Accenture predicts that social commerce will grow 3 times as fast as traditional e-commerce and will probably more than double from $492 billion worldwide in 2021 to $1.2 trillion in 2025. The evolution of technology and the shift in consumer behavior are continuously changing the dynamics of e-commerce, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. Some of the most popular products and services when it comes to e-commerce are fashion items, electronics, and media. Other big parts is the travel industry and e-learning, which I will talk more about in my next episode. But let's talk a little bit about personal selling. First, we have the traditional places where you as a person can sell, like eBay, Amazon, or Etsy. There you can sell anything from handmade crafts and vintage items to electronics and books. Another form of personal selling is the social commerce on Instagram, on Facebook, where they have rolled out the feature to allow users to list and sell products directly from the app. Another popular form of personal selling is drop shipping. Drop shipping is when you sell products through an online store without ever touching the products yourself. When the sales is made from a drop shipper, the product is shipped directly from the manufacturer to the customer. We also have peer-to-peer platforms, P2P, like Depop and Poshmark, where second-hand selling has turned into a booming industry, especially when it comes to fashion. But it's not just physical goods. There is a huge market for digital products and self-publishing books like Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. KDP allows authors to self-publish their books on Amazon. And according to authorimPrints.com, Amazon KDP printed nearly 500,000 unique titles in 2020. Another popular section is print on demand, POD. Platforms like Teespring, Printful, Zazzle, Redbubble, I can go on forever, where you can buy custom designed t-shirts, mugs, posters. I, as a seller, upload my artwork and decide where it can be printed on. And when someone buys it, the POD company starts the printing process and deliveries to the customer. A report from Order Intelligence reported that in 2020, the POD market was valued worldwide to $22.16 billion. These platforms give creatives a place to sell their work without having put up any money up front. So whether you are a writer, an artist, a designer, there is a platform for you. This opens opportunities for people that maybe don't have the money to start their own business. This opens many personal selling opportunities. But remember, to be successful takes a lot of work. I have tried it, and it's not easy. So let's talk a little bit about pros and cons, advantages and risks. From a seller perspective, whether you are a personal seller or a big company, the advantages are you have a global reach. There is usually a lower or none startup cost, and low operating costs. You usually have a very good data gathering. You can easily see what products do well, what doesn't do well, and a lot of other information about your customers. And an online store is open 24/7. But there are also drawbacks. It is a very high competition. It is easy to start an e-commerce business, which means that a lot of people are trying it. Another drawback is that it's pretty hard to build the trust with the customers. Your customers can't physically interact with the products. They can't feel the material. They can't try them on. So they really must trust you to spend their money on your product. And then, of course, logistics. Shipping, returns, all of that can be complicated. From a customer's perspective, the positive is convenience, of course, and the variety. You can find almost anything when it comes to online shopping. As a customer, it's also very easy to compare prices from one site to another instead of going from store to store. You can just open 2 tabs in your browser and compare. On the negative side is, as I said, the lack of interaction. You can't try things on or feel the quality or taste it or whatever physical interaction you can have with the product. And of course, security concerns. Even though we have come a long way, there are still some risks involved. Another problem is impersonation. Is this legit or is this a scam? If we understand the pros and the cons, that can guide us when we do business online. And let's see if we can look into the future a little bit, what we can expect. First of all, it will probably be a more personalized experience in the future. The inclusion of AI and machine learning makes it possible for these apps and stores to present to us what is more within our wheelhouse, more of the things I as a person would like or want. The social commerce will probably keep on growing and growing in many different ways. And at least for me, I have been online and watched something for a while before I realized this is an ad. They are trying to sell me something. And the way they do that will continue to improve, to trick us into watching and buying. AR, augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality, will probably play a bigger role in the future when it comes to online shopping. And we have another aspect that probably will grow: voice commerce. With things like Alexa, it's very easy to just order what you want on an impulse right into the machine. So as I said in the beginning of this episode, there are things that surprised me and maybe will surprise you that you actually can buy online. And let's take a look at some examples. Did you know, for example, that you can buy a personal island or maybe just rent it? Or maybe you want a suit of armor. Or why not go to Lunar Land and buy a piece of the moon? And did you know that you can actually hire someone to stand in line for you for a concert ticket, for example, by using TaskRabbit? Or maybe you are in need of some ghost hunting equipment. Several websites where you can buy that. Or this website called Thailand Unique. an online store that specializes in edible insects? Or do you want to send a personalized message to somebody from a celebrity, a cameo? Well, all of this is possible. And some unusual things that I saw, things like rent a goat, have a mobile wedding, or maybe an invisible boyfriend that sends you text and little messages during the day. Or maybe you are in the market for dehydrated water or canned unicorn meat. A lot of these things are more prank products. But did you know that you can actually buy human bones online? And it is legal for medical or art use. As I said, you can find almost anything if you are shopping online. This was only the tip of the iceberg. The opportunities with e-commerce and online shopping are endless. And speaking of opportunities, in my next episode, I will focus on e-learning, which is a part of the e-commerce, but deserves its own episode, especially in my eyes, since I am a teacher. We will talk about how e-learning started, how it revolutionized education, how the pandemic that we now have behind us changed the concept of e-learning, and what can happen in the future. And as always, I want to end this with a question for you. What has been the most unusual product or service you have ever bought online? And you can share your answers either down in the comments below this video or on my website, thegeekyboomer.com, where I have a form for you to share your experience. And maybe I will mention you in an upcoming episode of the Geeky Boomer. That's all for today, but I hope to see you back here next week when we will talk about something that is very close to my heart, and that is e-learning. Until next time, goodbye.